Hello YouTube, it's First Stage. I'm back for another video. A bit more of this, bit more 4th edition. So what I want to do on this video is a couple of things. There'll be some things that I won't be able to do, but I'll tell you what I'm going to try and do. On the channel, someone has asked me, well, how does it play out? How does 4th edition play out? And I can do a little bit of that on this video. So I'm going to do a combat encounter. And I'm going to run through a combat encounter in 4th edition. It'll give you a flavour of how the game plays, at least as far as combat encounters are concerned. And it's D&D, so D&D throughout is pretty much a monster fighting game in cool locations. That's what it does. So I'll do that. I will do it on Foundry. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I will show you a combat encounter and I'll show it to you on the Foundry system, the virtual tabletop. So maybe it's a bit of a view about the way that the 4th edition game plays out on Foundry, and I'll talk a bit about the Foundry module as well. I'm sort of reasonably comfortable with the 4th edition rules. I think I can show you that relatively accurately. I'm relatively new to the Foundry module. I do run games on Foundry. My 4th edition game plays out on the Roll virtual tabletop, which again I would recommend you having a look at. Roll is in some ways a lighter virtual tabletop which emphasises video conferencing, so it's very much about having the people front and centre rather than the map and tokens. And it does a really good job in a much lighter and simpler way of dealing with map and tokens. And my players are quite comfortable fairly comfortable in Roll. Were I to start a campaign again, and we'll talk about that another time, in 4th edition, I would definitely use Foundry. So I'll do a little bit of that. So I'm doing two things there. There's quite a number of things I won't be able to do. Because I'm focusing on combat encounter, I'm playing into some of the lazy, sort of dust-laden tropes that get trotted out on 4th edition. It's all about combat, it's just a fighting game. No. Combats take too long. No. It's just like World of Warcraft. No. The fact that I'm running it in Foundry might make it feel even more like World of Warcraft. I don't really think it is. But so the tired tropes I'll be able to do very little about in this video. And it is just me. I have got friends. I do have some friends that, somewhere, but they're not here. So it's just me. So I'm going to be playing out a solo combat encounter. So I'm doing a couple of things here, and I hope that's okay. See what you think, but it'll give you a flavour of both. And we'll talk a bit about it afterwards, maybe. So now I'm going to transition. You'll find me over in Foundry. Hello, I'm here. I'm in a box. In a box. The things I'll do for you. This is Foundry. And Foundry, for me, the screen's over here, so I'm going to tend to look slightly in this direction. So I'm not ignoring you. I can see you. I can see me. Actually, I can't see you. But this is my best side. So what I'm going to do... So this is Foundry. A few words on Foundry, I guess. Foundry, you may all be aware, it's one of the very rich... map and token virtual tabletops that are out there, along with things like Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds, and indeed the other one that you like that I haven't mentioned, because there are quite a few. Really good virtual tabletops. Foundry is a one-off purchase. You can self-host it. I run it on a company that runs it called Forge. They host it for me, which means it's always available to players to go on and have a look at it. It technically makes it very, very simple. It simplifies everything for me in terms of the hosting. I'm also running using the Live Kit audio-visual module, which creates the webcam feed. This is a really smart way of managing multiple cameras, multiple audio-visual feeds on a Foundry-hosted Forge-hosted Foundry session, and it manages them very, very well. So it's a little bit superior, I would say, to just basic WebRTC, which is the technology that others will use. LiveKit's an open source service and technology which can be applied and integrated. Again, that's a feature of Foundry, possibly some of the others, the other sort of rich ones, that they can integrate lots of different services to create a really, really good effect. I've only just started using LiveKit with my 4 players in Conan. I'm running Conan 2D20. We played yesterday, and it was good fun. And the audio visuals were rock solid. I mean, really rock solid. So really impressed with that. That's audio visuals. We're supposed to be looking at 4E, aren't we? So the 4th edition module itself has come on really well. The system support, Foundry's got more than 200 systems that it supports out of the box. Personally, they do have a capability for you to write your own. You know, you sort of take I think a form fillable PDF and you can turn it into a bit of a system. I haven't tried that. I think for me, these days, if there's a game that's supported system-wise on Foundry, I will use Foundry as my virtual tabletop, probably of choice. If it hasn't, I'll probably use Roll. So I've got a couple that I sort of use. I do like Foundry. I think it's quite well done. But I'm going to take you into 4th edition and a combat encounter. What I think I will probably do is run through 1 round, probably at most. I've got 5 opponents. I've got 6, 4 orcs and a couple of player characters in a situation, and running through a full combat encounter on my own, making decisions about what they're all going to do. It will probably take time, which kind of apparently plays into the trope that, it always takes forever. Well, actually, there's only me. And like any of these games, any of the Dungeons and Dragons, make sure you decide what you're going to do before it's your turn. And then when it's your turn, do the thing. Just do the thing and pass the spotlight on. And if you do that, it's actually pretty quick. It won't seem quick. I'm just making excuses now. I'm making apologies now because I'm British. That's what we do. We just apologise for things in advance. I probably was bullied at school. Right, let's do that. So there's lots of backstory. I could tell you a story about this. This is Kalan. This is the world of Kalan. This is my world that I wrote when I was, I don't know, 20 or something. I just got into D&D and I decided to draw a map. I didn't draw this map. This is on Wonder Draft. And yeah, lots of big story about blah blah blah. I'm not going to bore you with the backstory. Let's pop out this. Let's actually transition to the actual situation itself, which is up in the high pass. So we're up in the high pass of these mountains. The pass between Ostorn, capital of Thrail, and Menelkar, the fortress city to the north, has been broken, and the players are going to go and find out what's going on. There's lots of story on this. I'm running this game actually at UK Games Expo, but in physical. So I've got printouts and power cards and all kinds of things. That's coming in about a fortnight's time. Really looking forward. I think I might be the only person running 4th edition at UK Games Expo. There's a surprise. I'm not sure how much D&D there actually is. There's loads of fantastic games there. Right, let's transition. So the high pass. So here's our situation. We have 2 characters. We have Yavan, the barbarian, and we have Riordan, the Eldarin wizard, against these 4 orcs here. An orc shaman with lots of magic. An orc reaver that's just standing there saying, "None shall pass." And a couple of orc archers here, look, looking to cause problems with their accurate arrows. It's a combat encounter. We switched to combat encounter. In 4th edition, you roll initiative, and it's in some ways it's not much different to other D&Ds. You'll tend to roll initiative. You've got an initiative rating, which is modified by a range of things. There's no active encounter. I'm going to create a combat encounter. So you create a natural encounter. What I'm going to do is, rather than have just one thing selected, I'm going to select everybody. And I'm going to put them into the combat encounter initiative tracker. That's one of the ways you do it. I must remember to stop selecting people as well, or I'll be selecting things. I'm going to roll initiative. You can just roll everybody, roll all. So you're going to see a lot of dice flowing in a minute. Here we go. They'll roll their initiative to see what order they go in. Some of them will have rolled well, some of them not so well. Yeah, the player characters are at the bottom. That's rubbish. First up is the Orc Archer. I'm going to begin the combat. And we're off. We're kind of basically off. I think that means, yes, the Orc Archer is this one here. So in 4th edition, it's not, again, I'm going to accentuate the fact that it's already similar. Let's have a look at our Orc Archer. And talk a bit about how you populate 4th edition in Foundry. So you get a number of standard actions in 4th edition. You get a standard action, which is where you do your main thing. It's usually the execution of a power, or an attack, a basic attack, or a main skill check, or something like that. You do have minor actions where you can do a subsidiary thing, and it's quite useful sometimes to blend a minor action and a standard action. You've got free actions, which you can take, which is shouting at somebody. I don't know. There's a range of other small things you can do, free actions. And you've got reactions, which you can take. Usually just the one, I think, reaction. So there's lots you can do. And moves. Sorry, and a move action. That's another key one. And you can move action. And you can trade down. So you can, instead of doing a standard action, you can do 2 moves. Something like that. Nice. So, populating. Well, the interesting thing, if I just open up a player characters sheet, they look fairly similar. The thing about 4th edition, as you possibly know, is that because of the GSL and the way it was licensed, there is no, at least I've not found a way to legally acquire a compendium of feats and powers and magic items. So what you see here is a number of at-will powers, encounter powers, and daily powers. I've had to put these in, pretty much. This is the 4th edition system module, and Foundry lets you do it. Obviously, it gives you lots of dialogue boxes that you can complete. There are capabilities to import powers. So if you've got the power written in JSON somewhere else, there are tools to import things. I just don't have the source data to do it, fundamentally. So you only obviously create the powers and feats that you need for your player characters. So that constrains it. But as you can see, they have at 5th level at least, they've got a fair number. There are some basic ones put in there for start characters, so you can drop in some basic ones and get you going. But you will need to keep those maintained. Let's go back to our Orc Archer. The game changer for me for 4th edition on Foundry is that there is another application, completely separate, called Master Plan, which you may know. Master Plan is a way of, well, it was designed to be a way of formulating your campaign and planning your campaign. It also has all the monsters, all configured on it, including, if you have the packs for it, all the monsters that were also created in the dungeon and the dragon magazines over time. So it's really quite comprehensive. There is a capability now to take the monsters, export them out of Master Plan, and import them into Foundry. All of them. Well, my goodness me, I tell you what, it's a game changer for me. That means that I'm looking seriously now at Foundry as my virtual tabletop for 4th edition. So all the data you see there has come across from Master Plan. You just need to find the tokens, which I've done. Anyway, we're in the middle of combat. So let's do a combat round now. I'm looking at it now. And this orc has seen them coming. You can see an elf. Well, he's just going to shoot the elf. Wouldn't you? I would. It's an Eladrin as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the Eladrin. I'm going to target the Eladrin. That's going to be his target. And he's just going to... Now, he's got several options here. He's got Clustered Volley and he's got Longbow. Clustered Volley is great. So if the enemy's bunched up in a Zone 1 burst, which I'll show you, I can show you one of those in a minute, they're not quite there, then he can use that. which means he can target everyone in the burst. It's like a volley. They're fantastic at the orc archers, but he can't do that. So what he's going to do instead, he's going to just do a straight standard longbow attack. So here we go. Here's his attack. It's physical. It's attacking. It's versus the armor class. In 4th edition, as you probably know, there are four defenses. There are the 3 saves from the 3rd edition era: reflexes, will, and fortitude. And powers can attack those defenses. It's not always all about armor class at all. And so they are passive defenses against different attacks. As it is, this is a classic against his armor class. I'm going to say there's no cover. I'm going to judge no cover. I may be being cruel to Riordan there. So it's a straight roll. There's nothing else that applies here. So I can just roll it. Oh, it's almost a critical. Not quite. But that is absolutely a palpable hit, in which case he can roll damage. It's normal damage, not a critical damage. Critical damage is in 4th edition is max damage, so he just rolls his damage. And he's going to apply it. Now I'm going to select Riordan as the target for that damage. I'm sorry, Riordan. It's you. And you can see he takes the damage. As I put Riordan now, his hit points have gone down by 9. I didn't enjoy that at all. Didn't enjoy that one bit. Well, first blood to the orcs. Now, he's done his standard action. He could move. He's going nowhere. He's happy. He's happy. He just gets another arrow out and says, "Go on, come on." The Orc Reaver. What is the Orc Reaver going to do? Well, perhaps foolishly or not, the Orc Reaver is looking at the situation. He looks at the barbarian on the bridge. He could just do some sort of display of. He can't help himself. He's going to charge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can charge, and he can get into range, combat range of the barbarian. He's done his move action. He's now going to do his standard action. You're not targeting him. The target is going to be, it's going to be this barbarian here. So let's have a look at the Reaver. What's he got? So the Reaver is, again, slightly different. It's level 5. Again, the other thing about 4th edition, you probably know, is orcs are not just first one-hit dice things with very straightforward, it attacks you. They've all got emblematic, thematic powers that do cool things. And at 5th level, this Reaver has got a lot of hit points. It's got a fairly chunky armor class at AC 19. His defenses are reasonably good. And he's got some great things that he can do. So, by the way, the player characters are toast in this encounter. I can tell you that now. I haven't balanced it. I've just put things on. Well, he's charged. He's got a blood crazed charge, which is an encounter power. So he could execute that now. But the blood crazed charge, if you look at what that does, if you hit an enemy as a free action, you can then charge an enemy. So you can twat somebody. And then you can go, right, I'm over there. And you're off. It's fantastic. So he can't really do a blood crazed charge, although possibly if he smashes into Riordan, into Yavin, he might charge the elf. We'll see. Let's have a look. He's going to do a battle axe attack against. So he does his action. Nothing applies here apart from a straight roll. He rolls. How does he do? He misses. How? No, he was charging. I should have given him the charge bonus. What is Riordan's armor class? It is something. Can't see it. It's probably there. Defenses. Armor class 20. Even with a charge bonus, it's not going to help. I should have applied the charge tick. Sorry, Reaver, you fail. There's a blood-curdling scream and a flow of a battle axe, but Riordan lives to fight another day. That's very much the end of his action. And again, I go to the Orc Shaman. Well, the Orc Shaman, again, has lots of cool things he can do. I assume it's a he. Don't know why. In fact, his Vengeful Whirlwind I've used before. I've done some practicing on this. He's going to Lightning Strike. Range of 30. It's all squares. So 30 squares, 150 feet. He's well in range. Foundry give you lots of tools that you can use to, do stuff like, quickly ranging, and you can set up all sorts of kind of cool things. He's going to just let rip with it's an attack versus reflexes. So this is an example where his target, which is going to be the barbarian, for good or ill, he's going to target the barbarian on the bridge. He's going to do a lightning strike against the barbarian. So let's see how he fares with this. We've targeted him. He makes an attack. None of this applies. It's just a roll. Rubbish. He rolled a 2. He missed. So he missed the reflex defense of the barbarian. A lightning bolt goes off. He's not going anywhere. He's not moving. He could do other things, but he's not going to do anything else. So I'm going to untarget and clear that off. End of his turn. The other orc archer. Here he is. What he's going to do? He's going to have a go at. Oh, he can't resist the elf. So I'm going to say he's going to target the elf with his longbow. He can't do a clustered volley, so he's going to just make a roll. He's going to attack. It's against the AC. I'm going to say that the bridge provides some cover to the Eladrin wizard. I may be being generous, so you just click the cover thing, and then you roll, and it applies that bonus to. The orcs are just. I'm sorry. Is it the fact it's too early in the morning for them? I don't know what's going on, but that's definitely a miss. But again, the orc archer is not going to move anywhere. They're holding fire. They're going to let the Reaver just go in and destroy them. It is now Riordan's turn, however. Well, I don't know. What's he going to do? He's going to deal with the Reaver, I think, because the Reaver is the thing that's in front and is causing a problem. He doesn't want to get too close, though. I think from here, he's going to... I think he's going to witch bolt him. He's going to witch bolt the... Let's target the Reaver. He's going to help his friend by throwing in a witch bolt. It goes against the reflexes of this particular target, the Reaver. Here we go. Nothing much applies other than a straight roll here. Bang! Witch bolt. This could be a long combat because everyone's just going. He missed. He missed with his witch bolt. How disappointing. He will apologise to his friend for that complete rubbish miss. It's down to Yavin. It's down to the barbarian. I'm going to switch on to the barbarian. Well, I think we're going to keep. Yeah, I think we're going to keep the Reaver as the target. What can the barbarian do? Well, I hope he does something, because I'm starting to be embarrassed. It's my dice rolling, or it's this VTT. I did the clicking though. It's my dice rolling. I do like dice rolling. I do like to see the results rather than rolling physical dice. I just like to see it. So I've been practicing. So he's done his Frost Wolf thing. He can't do a Roar of Triumph. He's going to do his Thane Rage. He's angry, so he goes into a rage. Primal damage, strength versus AC seems right. Come on, it's a daily power. He's going for it. Surely he can spend a healing surge. He doesn't need to. This is probably not the right thing to do. I'm just going to throw in a power. So he's going to do his standard action. You can see it's a standard action. It's a melee weapon. He'll make his attack against the Reaver. Let's see what he does. None of these apply. He's not charging. He's not squeezing. He's not restrained. There's nothing. He's making a roll. Thank you. Thank you very much. 20 will do. That's a critical. He's pleased with that. He's going to roll his damage, and it's a critical hit. So let's just make sure we're targeting the right thing. Yes, we are. Go on. Take that, you thing. There's a random roll that goes with it. Something that's, I think there's a random applied. I think he's carrying a magic weapon. The critical hit has got a random additional die roll on that. But his actual main power attack with his strength bonus and all that thrown in, 2 weapon damage because it's a daily attack, is a relatively chunky amount of damage. Let's apply that. Now what that's going to do, remarkably, because the Reaver is a really tough hombre, that's not half damage even. It's most of his damage. It's up to half, but he's not blooded. but it is effective. You can spend a healing surge until the rage ends. Any ally who starts his or her turn within 3 squares of you gains temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier. So seeing this Thane rage happening is inspiring to Riordan. So when it comes to his turn, he can get some temporary hit points to start to cushion the pincushion that he is. And so the battle continues. I've done a turn. And it wheels round to round 2. And you get to round 2. I'm not going to do anything else with Riordan. He's going to go toe-to-toe with this Reaver. Now, I'm going to sort of hold it there. I haven't given you a huge amount, I suppose, but I've given you a combat turn in this. And if I do a lot more, well, you're going to get bored of me playing myself on, as it were, on Foundry. So there you are. Combat turn. They've all got emblematic powers. It flows very, very quickly. The module supports it, as you can see, and supports the sort of varying conditional modifiers that apply. I do predict that the player characters are going to struggle to get over the bridge and are going to struggle to get through. I haven't balanced it because these orcs are tough. These are tough. And so it plays. That's a combat encounter. That's a combat 1 round. Obviously, with the more people, more brains applying very quickly, applying their powers, it would flow pretty quickly. Yeah, I almost want to know what happens now. I might play a bit later when we finish this video. We'll see. You can even do solo play, as you can see. So there's Foundry. I like the module. I like what it has to offer. You can build up your scenes. You can build up your adversaries and actors, as they call them in the game. You can build up your player characters. There's other things that you can do. You can group them and put them into folders as you like. I am building up my own set of powers, as you can see. I've Witch Bolt was, for example, one that I put in there. For example, you get templates to put things in. It's an at-will power. It's a standard action. It's ranged. It's got a range of 5. All that kind of good stuff. There are some formulas down there which they give you sort of some nice details on what that all means. The defaults pretty much work for most things. Actually, you need to do very little. You can put in whatever chat flavor text that you want to there. Just to make it sort of look nice when the powers pop up on the chat. All that kind of good stuff. You can create your own journals. I've created one there. I don't know what it is. No, I just created an image of the heroes. This is the game that I'm going to be running at UK Games Expo. Not using Foundry. Lots of great stuff. I think it works pretty well. And I think for me, the thing that probably swings it is 2 things. One is the master plan import of all the monsters. You can create an encounter in master plan. It creates that, formats it. You then say import it into Foundry. You've got a few buttons to click to get there, but it will do it, and they will all just flow in, all of them. Really, really easy. Really nice. Well, there we are. A little bit of Foundry, a little bit of 4th edition. I do appreciate that in the short time that I've had, I have been able to give you the sort of full rounded experience of 4th edition and all the different variations that there are. Because there's kind of a lot there. I hope that's been of interest, both in terms of showing the integration with Foundry a little bit, and also just the way that the game or a combat encounter flows. It's, as I say, it's not really that different from other D&Ds in many ways. And although some of the design conceits in 4th edition are quite groundbreaking in the way that it looks to present the capabilities of the players, a lot of the game actually flows very, very similarly to other D20 games. The actual action economy is remarkably similar to Modiphius's Conan 2D20 actually as well. So, it's still got legs in that sense. So there we are. And it plays out really, really well. It's a lot of fun to play. It's 4th edition. It's a real player's game. Everything's designed around fun play. Really, of course, to show it off, what I should be doing is running a stream. You know, I'm not a streamer. I don't do that sort of thing. I do a few of these videos, but I have been wondering whether I should run a short campaign and do it online. And stream it just so people can see what a campaign looks like. It'd be very much that vision, that picture that you got of Foundry. That would be your main view. You'd have more people, because I'd have some mates who'd come and play, and we'd tell a story, and we would have some encounters, and we'd have some action, and we'd have a resolution to that campaign. And I think that would give you probably the best view of how Foundry operates and how 4th edition plays. And a lot of it will be talky talk stuff. You know, the Dungeon Master Guide 2nd edition just says if you want to give experience points out for sort of cool role playing stuff, just flow it in. So it's very happy and open to see play as it really happens, with people talking to each other and enjoying playing the characters and being the characters and immersing through that and coming out with great dialogue and interesting situations and bizarre failures and outrageous successes. That's what we get, isn't it? So there you are. Hope that was useful. I'm going to sign off, and I will be doing some more videos on 4th edition. And let me know what you think. Is there really space for another streaming game? I mean, I don't know. There's so many of them out there. I don't think there's a lot of 4th edition. There are a few 4th edition streaming games, so maybe actually go and see those. You know, they will show you how the game plays out. Matt Colville has done one. I think it's called Dust or something, and that's in Fantasy Grounds, where a lot of work's been done to get all that data into Fantasy Grounds. You could certainly see how the game plays out by watching that. Maybe that's better than, frankly, anything I could come up with. But you know, I'd welcome your thoughts. Well, I hope that's good. Hope you have a good day, good gaming. Get some 4E to the table, and who knows, maybe even get some 4E to Foundry. See you later.